some of our weak hadith from Sunnis, you will hear them coming from members of the Shia community from the sayings of the Imams. Well, since I study everything, I can recognize where I heard this before. Okay, a lot of people don't study like that. Anyway, it's a long story. I'm not saying that's bad or that's good, but what I mean to say is this. Since Muslims went all over the world, right, after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, each group went there and they were teaching Islam, wherever they went. Okay, they knew certain parts about Islam. Some went to Syria, some went to Africa, right? So if you look at the Muslims, some pray like this, right? Yeah. You look at some, they pray like this. Some pray with their hands down. Some say, well, Imam so-and-so, he couldn't hold his hands up, so he prayed like this. It's okay. Well, how did the Prophet ﷺ do it? So everybody follows what their scholars say. So we weren't learning how to pray like this, so it's fine. We're not going to change it. There's nothing wrong with it. So, But the point is this, is that in later years, they cut down a number of madhabs or groups. And you could turn the heat, because if they need a little heat, would you turn it up a little? Yeah, because it's getting chilly now. I can feel it myself. But anyway, so everywhere there were Muslims, they were only aware of what they knew about Islam. That didn't mean the other part that they didn't know was right, because they're a group of Sahaba. They're all in China. Basically, they're cut off from the rest of the Muslims. Visitors come every now and then. So they remember the hadith, they remember how to pray, they remember the fundamentals from that group. And the scholars in that area develop and they teach. So wherever you would go in the world years ago, you would have the basic Islamic teaching, but you would have different madhab. It was hundreds of madhabs, groups. And each one knew what it knew. It wasn't saying the other ones was wrong. It said, this is what we teach, what we knew, right? And so, this is a thing that later on it became codified into this Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Ahmed ibn Hanbal, they codified it. And so, at that time, it became kind of solidified. And then they had Itna Ashari and Zaydis, two groups. And then they have different groups, like the people of Yemen. When you hear them call the Adhan, they say, Hayyal al Khair al Amal, like Shias do. But they believe in Abu Bakr and Umar, Shaykh Khan, the two. They believe in those. So, but now they're shifting over to becoming full-fledged Shias because they're being cut off and isolated, and they're getting real help from Iran, which is Shias. The more we understand about all of these trends, the better we can behave in the Islamic perspective. Okay, I'm going to just read a few little things about the author. Born in 1835 in Qadian, that's why we call them Qadianis. Hadrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the promised Messiah and Mahdi. That's what they said now. That's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about the brothers. Are you the crew that believe in him as just a mujaddid? that means you could still be an Islamic club. The promised Messiah and Mahdi remain dedicated to the study of Quran and to a life of prayer and devotion, finding Islam the target of foul attacks from all directions, the fortunes of Muslims at a low ebb, faith yielding to doubt and religion only skin deep. He undertook vindication and exposition of Islam. In his vast corpus of writings, including his epic-making Barahin-e-Ahmadiyya, his lectures, discourses, religious debates, etc., he argued that Islam was a living faith and the only faith by following which man could establish contact with his Creator and enter into communion with Him. His teaching contained the Holy Quran, the law promulgated by Islam, were designed to raise man to moral, intellectual, and spiritual perfection. He announced that God had appointed him the Messiah and Mahdi. Okay, this is, now you're getting into heavy stuff. Okay. As mentioned in the prophecies of the Bible and Quran and Hadith, in 1889, he began to accept initiation into his community, which is now established in 198 countries. His 91 books are written mostly in Urdu, but are in Arabic and Persian. After his demise in 1908, that's when he died, the promised Messiah was succeeded by Mawlavi Nuruddin Khalifatul Masiha. That means the Khalifa of the Masih, of the, On the death of Mawlavi Nuruddin in 1914, who was also the promised Messiah's promised son, was elected as Khalifa and remained in office nearly 52 years. He died in 1965 and was succeeded by his eldest son, the promised grandson of the promised Messiah. After 17 years of meritorious service, he passed away in 1982. He was succeeded by his younger brother, Mirza somebody, who, having led the community to its present strength and global recognition, passed away in 2003. The fifth Masih, Messiah, is the present head of the community and enjoys the distinction of being the great grandson of Ghulam Ahmed. Okay, the point I'm going to make is this, and then we'll get on into our subject. My reason for going there was just to, they've been coming by asking me, and I had a feeling that this group gets along well with governments, the British and the Americans, especially, because they say something different than what we believe, that so they're gonna get pushed. They can they get backed up by the government. This is what we was taught, and when you go around and look, this is what you'll find. Okay, there's a big group of them in Oakland, and the imam in Oakland several years ago was Muhammad Abdullah. He was the head of Qadianis in that region. He was a Pakistani brother. He was very learned in Islam. And so he had a lot of Islamic history, but he had been the Imam in Fiji Islands. And Imam Muhammad, when I was at the masjid, because the community was still kind of black orientated, so they was feeling a little strange about an immigrant being an imam. But this imam, he told some jokes. There's a group that was a big, Yusuf Bey had a big bakery, Your Black Muslim Bakery in Oakland. And a couple of guys came from, this is what Imam Muhammad is telling us at Juma, because his birthday was February 26th. Okay, that's Savior's Day. So he was saying, yes, the brothers came by and they gave me all this money and stuff, and they said, we want to thank you for what you did for our leader. And he said, no, I'll take your money, but I didn't do that, and I'm not, he was telling them, I'm not Farad Muhammad. Remember Savior's Day, February 26th? That's why we're so fortunate, man. We got niggas that's been really screwed up. But it's good to be around to observe all of that. We're there in Oakland, and just to talk about the stuff that went on there. Look, later on, Fahim Shuaib became the imam there. But before that, in the 70s, especially Imam Muhammad asked him a question when he was choosing. Imam Muhammad himself chose him as imam because this person, Muhammad Abdullah, had been one of the teachers of Imam Muhammad. Okay, he had been one of the teachers, not in a class like we all, but one of the teachers. He was on Islamic philosophy and what have you. So this is, I would think, around 1980-ish, somewhere around there. Maybe a little before, maybe a little after. Could have been 77. It's between 77 and 81, something like that. But Imam Muhammad, there was a big meeting in the masjid, and so he just asked Muhammad Abdullah one question. He said, what tafsir would you use? Because we had both the tafsir of Yusuf Ali and Maulana Muhammad Ali. So Imam Muhammad, he told him, I'll use my own tafsir. It's like right now, we've studied all the tafsir, so when something come up, you're qualified to use your own commentary on that. You study all the tafsir, what everybody said, and then you give your own rendition of what you think it means. That's the way, that's how knowledgeable he was. So he wouldn't use, the question was, will you use Maulana Muhammad Ali's translation as commentary? Or will you use Yusuf Ali's? He said, I won't use either one. Basically, that's what he's saying. I'll use my own. I'll give my own commentary to ayats and everything, which was fine. Anyway, he became the imam there, and he was an honest imam. I can't say that about the colored imams. We'd like to say that, but it just ain't possible. Anyway, so here we are, dear believers. We're going around again. Look what this says on the back about the book. The essay entitled "A Philosophy and Teachings of Islam was written in Urdu by Hadrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the Promised Messiah, and Mahdi. The invitation of Swami Shugan Chandar, under whose auspices the Conference of Great Religions was held in Lahore Town Hall on the 26th to the 29th of December, 1896. Okay. And I just wanted to read that because this book right here is from colonial times, deep into colonial times, right? And it does not deal with evolution. When I was talking with the brother yesterday, I had certain things in mind. I said, we deal with the fundamentals of Islam. You know, you face